Fox 40 investigates the case of one of the country's most notorious serial killers, and he's never been caught. He started here in Sacramento, and now 42 years later, victims of the East Area Rapist, they are telling their stories.
And this as investigators continue to dig up new leads, but will they ever catch him? Fox 40's Allie Wolf has the story in tonight's special report.
Time has the power to change many things, but some wounds never fully heal.
I don't ever think the pain is going to go away.
Some trauma is so deep, 40 years can't dull the pain.
It really shattered who I was.
Starting in the late 1970s, one man caused physical and emotional scars during a decade-long crime spree across California.
This is a bold psychopath.
I think he's probably about as close to the boogeyman as you can get.
He's been dubbed the East Area Rapist. Original Night Stalker.
Has murdered time and time again.
And the Golden State Killer.
He is a very evil man.
He raped, he murdered, he tore families apart.
Everything that you think of in a horror film was this guy.
He shattered the concept of safety in communities up and down the state.
Well, I think that it's a very serious situation. I think it's very dangerous.
He's running wild.
This footage from the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office captures the fear back then when the East Area Rapist started preying on neighborhoods from Rancho Cordova, Carmichael, and Citrus Heights over to Davis, the Bay Area, and as far south as Modesto.
I have a gun, but I still don't feel safe being, at home alone.
He prowled, he burglarized, and usually raped women while they were home in bed.
I put locks on my doors. Peepholes in just last week.
I imagine a lot of women in the area are scared and are nervous.
If you are going to defend yourself, you must injure your attacker, and I don't mean just hurt him.
During his reign of terror in the late 1970s, Sacramento County Sheriff's investigator Carol Daly held classes teaching women how to protect themselves.
By hurting him, you're only going to make him madder, but you injure him enough to incapacitate him in any way that you can.
Back then, Daly was at every crime scene to interview the victims.
It was like they could never let go of it. Every time they turned around, there was another rape.
She remembers the horror. It still haunts her today.
I worked homicide for 7 years, so I worked some really horrific cases. There's nothing that has stayed with me like this case has. I wasn't a victim, but it's always with me for what these people went through.
You're going to go left.
Paul Holes is an investigator with the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office.
So he has watched her.
He's been hunting this criminal for over 20 years.
This is what I call ground zero for the East Area Rapist. This is where he started.
He leads us into the first neighborhood the East Area Rapist targeted in the summer of 1976 in Rancho Cordova.
This neighborhood, Cordova Meadows, is a neighborhood where the East Area Rapist attacked 5 times.
And it's here this notorious criminal hones his specific style of torturing his victims while always wearing a ski mask and gloves, keeping his face, his identity, a mystery.
He'll wake the couple up, he's got a flashlight, he's shining it in their eyes. So in addition to having the ski mask, now they're blinded by the lights. And he will, through clenched teeth, threaten them. Do what I say or I'll kill you.
He threatens and he taunts his victims, often using dishes.
And he comes back with those and he puts them on the male's back. And he basically tells the guy, if I hear these, she's dead.
Dishes like this fine china are among the items reported stolen during attacks. This is a newly disclosed piece of evidence likely taken during an attack. Pouches used to hold a set of china. Investigators say these thefts happened as victims lay incapacitated, their hands and their feet bound. And this was repeated over and over again. And with time,
he was becoming more and more angry.
The level of violence escalates.
He was pushing a knife against his throat. His threats to kill.
Over the course of a decade, this dangerous criminal would attack across California, eventually committing 12 murders, mostly in Southern California, and about 50 rapes. But it wasn't until 2001 investigators used DNA technology to link all of the crimes.
It was huge.
A major break in one of the country's notorious cold cases. Now,
Yes, I think we're getting close.
investigators from across the state have momentum. With help from a recent FBI campaign, they are actively sifting through tips, old cases, and new leads. But the clock is ticking.
It's kind of the fourth quarter of the game.
The original investigators, the victims, and if alive, the East Area Rapist himself are all getting older.
There is a time period, and that time period is waning.
As the years pass, the interest in catching this elusive killer has intensified.
He robbed me of my dignity.
Women were violated.
And it's still very painful.
Teenagers lost sisters.
The thought of, the way my sister was brutally raped and murdered, it really hurts.
Children lost mothers.
There were bodies in our home, and that they were pretty sure that my mom was one of them.
Their pain hasn't faded, but neither has their hope. Hope that by retracing his path, understanding his twisted mind, and using modern technology, this notorious criminal who's been in the shadows for 40 years will finally be exposed. Starting tonight, Fox 40 is launching a new podcast series, Exposed, the East Area Rapist. Every week, you'll hear from detectives who have made it their life's work to catch this notorious killer. You'll also hear more from Jane, just one of the many people who came face to face with evil. You'll also hear from family members of the victims who will stop at nothing to find the man who ruined their lives. We dive deeper into the investigation and even reveal new leads. Allie Wolf, Fox 40 News.